We usually think that the way forward is all about adding more, right? New skills, new habits, new ways of thinking. But today, we're going to explore a totally different and much quieter path to rewiring our minds.
Just let that sink in for a second. What if it's not about chasing another goal or mastering another routine? What if instead the real work is about the gentle, deliberate act of letting things go? Because that's where true transformation really begins.
So, the core idea we're talking about today is growth through subtraction. It's this whole philosophy that real progress doesn't come from piling more on, but from shedding the mental weight that's been holding you back. It's about, creating the space for something new to actually grow. Now, what makes this so incredibly difficult is something called identity dissonance. It's that weird friction you feel when you've changed, but everyone around you, well, they still see you and treat you like the old you. And understanding this is absolutely crucial because it explains why letting go is such a huge personal and social challenge. All right, so let's get into our countdown. We're going to explore 9 things that we can quietly, deliberately remove from our lives to clear the path for who we're becoming. Let's start with number 9. We sometimes feel this pressure to justify our decisions. Well, constantly explaining your choices, your boundaries, your path, it kind of signals a lack of conviction. Your life is your own. It doesn't actually require a defense. Okay, on to number 8. This is a big one. It's a weight so many of us carry without even realizing just how heavy it's gotten. See, holding on to past mistakes, it literally chains you to a version of yourself that doesn't even exist anymore. It stops you from being fully here, in the present. To really move forward, you have to start seeing your past as a lesson, not a life sentence. Moving right along to number 7. This one is all about reclaiming your most valuable and totally non-renewable resource, your time.
Think about it. Every single time you say yes to something you don't really want to do, you're saying no to something that actually matters to you. And that fear, it can lead to a life built completely around other people's priorities. Sometimes, a simple no can be the most powerful act of self-respect you can make.
Coming in at number 6 is a habit that, let's be honest, social media has turned into a toxic art form. Looking at someone else's perfect highlight reel and comparing it to your messy behind the scenes, it's pretty much the fastest way to feel like you're not enough. Your path is yours and yours alone. The only comparison that's even worth making is with the person you were yesterday. Just let the others go.
So we're at the midpoint, number 5. This one's about all that invisible baggage we carry around. The things we've agreed to that just don't serve us anymore. Just think for a second about the projects and promises you've made that don't align with who you are right now. They're just sitting there draining your mental energy every single day. Letting them go isn't quitting. It's being strategic. It's making room for what truly matters to you now.
On to number 4. This one requires a fundamental shift in where we look for our sense of self-worth. When you source your value from what other people think, you're basically handing them the keys to your emotional state. The most profound kind of freedom comes when you learn to approve of yourself, without needing a round of applause from anyone else.
We're getting really close to the core of this whole idea now. Number 3 is a standard that paralyzes way more people than it ever inspires. Let's be real. The hunt for perfection is usually just a mask for the fear of being judged. It stops you from starting, it stops you from finishing, and it stops you from just being human. Real growth happens in that messy, imperfect space of actually doing things.
All right, let's look at number 2. This is that quiet, nagging anxiety that just steals the joy from the present moment for so many of us. There is no universal timeline. I'm going to say that again. There is no universal timeline. This belief that you're behind is a total fiction, an imaginary standard we torture ourselves with. Accepting and honoring your own pace isn't being passive, it's a radical act of peace in a world that's always rushing. And now we've arrived at number 1, the final and maybe the most challenging thing to remove from your life. So what is it? What's the one thing that connects to almost everything else on this list? The one thing that keeps us over-explaining, fearing judgment, and constantly looking for validation.
It's the need to be understood. When you are truly, deeply changing, especially when you're facing that identity dissonance we talked about, not everyone is going to get it. And here's the thing, they don't have to. Letting go of the need for everyone to understand you is the final, most essential step in trusting yourself completely.
So in the end, this isn't about finding some better map for the journey ahead. It's about traveling lighter. Removing these 9 things from your pack, well, that's what allows you to move with more freedom, more clarity, and more authenticity.
Look, this isn't about some massive overnight overhaul. It's about small, quiet acts of subtraction. So, as you think about all this, just ask yourself, which one of these feels the heaviest for you right now? And what would it feel like to just gently put it down?